Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaimMD here. Today we have another Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl moveset video guide on how to use AZUMARILL. Now, yesterday I did Crawdaunt. If you guys missed that, feel free to check it out. I mean, I'm doing Pokemon every single day, just giving you guys moveset video guides on them. Sometimes multiple, sometimes one. But today we have AZUMARILL. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Like I said, I'm uploading a lot of Pokemon content, not just this, every single day, 2 to 3 videos a day. And also for those that want to pick up my new merch, feel free to. That link is down below. You'll see it on your screen right now. But let us get into AZUMARILL. Now, I did Crawdaunt yesterday, and Crawdaunt with adaptability, and actually I'm showing off Crawdaunt today in the channel live, but Crawdaunt with adaptability can be comparable to huge power AZUMARILL in terms of, like, my god, it is hard to switch into these Pokemon, right? These water types, these offensive water types, are very hard to switch into. So when you first look at AZUMARILL and you see that 50 base attack, it doesn't look like much, but obviously you couple in huge power, you couple in a choice band, and this mon hits incredibly hard. So the first set we have is probably the strongest set for AZUMARILL right now, and I want to clarify that this is really strong right now because there is no Ferrothorn, there is no Toxapex, there is no Tapu Fini. Though Tapu Fini is like not the best switch into AZUMARILL anyway, just because choice band play roughs would do damage. But those Pokemon are not in BDSP, so this Pokemon can put an insane amount of work. It doesn't have access to knockoff currently, but with the Pokemon Home compatibility, I think coming out next month, hopefully we'll see what happens with that. Then you definitely pair knockoff over superpower in my opinion. But basically the idea behind this set is you bring in AZUMARILL, and AZUMARILL being part Fairy type is amazing, right? Because Latios can't drop a Draco on it. It's immune to Dragon type attacks. You bring in the AZUMARILL and you click buttons. Waterfall is probably your most spammable move. In a metagame where Scizor and Gliscor are number 1, Waterfall being able to do 1,000,000% to Gliscor, although if they are physically defensive, they can live it. I want to keep that in mind. But also easily 2-hit KOing special defensive Scizor, which is what everybody's running right now, due to the fact that they are scared of Latios, which was not banned. Waterfall is just the most clickable move, right? You have Play Rough as well as your fairy coverage. Very hard to switch into. Lets you deal with the dragons that would otherwise resist your water moves. But even then, like in the case of Choice Band Waterfall, like it's 2-hit KOing Latios type of thing. So you don't really have to worry too much about resistances. The big one is like Dragonite, obviously. It's just good neutral moves on grass types and obviously anything that resists water. Aqua Jet's amazing. Aqua Jet allows you to pick off an Infernape, which can threaten you with an Iron Fist boosted Thunder Punch. It also lets you pick off weaker Alakazams or Gengars, and it just gives you that priority move, making AZUMARILL that much more of a threat to even Pokemon that are faster than it. And the last thing we have is Superpower. Now, there's not a lot of Pokemon that you actually need Superpower for, in my opinion, but the one that comes to mind is Empoleon. It gives you a guaranteed KO on that. It's also a guaranteed KO on Blissey, and maybe in a situation where Sun is up, you can use it on Heatran, because the Sun would weaken the Waterfall. But otherwise, this is like the main thing. I guess Abomasnow is another one if you don't want to miss Play Rough and you want to pick off Abomasnow. Now, I run Max Attack, Max Speed. I think that Max Speed is necessary on Choice Band AZUMARILL. Let me explain. Because actually, similarly to like the Hariyama video and I think the Donphan video, I had some people say, oh, why would you run, I think one person said, why would you run max speed on this thing if it's hitting a speed tier already above XYZ threat? Let's just take Scizor as the threat, for example, that we want to be faster than, right? Scizor with no speed investment is, if I'm not mistaken, 160. Yep, it's 166 speed. With max speed investment on Adamant Nature, we are 199 speed, right? So that's a lot of extra EVs that you can put in bulk. Sure, but unless you can justify like the bulk meaning something, like maybe you put whatever in physically defensiveness and that allows you to take like 2 bandit close combats from Infernape after Stealth Rock, which is something maybe you wouldn't be able to do just because Infernape is really strong. Sure, but the way I justify this is that other Azus are running max speed. I would hate to be in a situation where I lose before I even get to coin flip to beating the Azu. Basically, if we're both max speed, it's a 50-50. It's a speed tie. But if I'm not max speed and they are max speed, I can lose, you know? Also, Azu has the ability to check other Belly Drum Azu as well, so I think max speed is just necessary. But of course, Scizor is a speed tier you are faster than. Skarmory is a speed tier that you are faster than when they are running like min speed. So that's the main reason why I really do like max speed on neutral-natured AZUMARILLs. So next up we have the other fantastic set, which is Belly Drum. Belly Drum is an amazing set because it allows you to get your attack to +6, making you a very threatening sweeper. Even Pokemon like Latios need to keep their HP over 60% in order to take a +6 resisted Aqua Jet. Again, in this set, typically if it had knockoff, it would use knockoff over waterfall, but you're going to be using waterfall because there are no knockoff, or there's no knockoff, but it's still a really strong move in general. It doesn't miss versus like Clefable. The one big thing about Belly Drum sets is that if it's special defensive Clefable and you have waterfall, and obviously if it's unaware, it ignores the +6, you still have chances to flinch them down with waterfall, and waterfall does a great chunk. So that's nice. So it's Belly Drum, Waterfall, Player Off, and Aqua Jet. You have a Citrus Berry over Choice Band. This is because when you go over Belly Drum, you get to 50%. You heal a little bit with your Citrus Berry. This allows Azumarill to be a threatening sweeper. It's a great late game cleaner or an early game breaker. By that I mean using an early game to maybe weaken a Scizor or knock out a Scizor or weaken a Latios for something that appreciates Latios being gone, like Infernape in the back, or something that you want to win with, just to weaken something and allow something else to sweep. Also, +6 Azumarill is the set that can deal with physically defensive Tangrowth, because that +6 Play Rough does knock out Tangrowth, which is, pretty freaking cool, because this mon is a strong Pokemon, and Tangrowth is otherwise one of the best answers to Belly Drum Azu. I'll actually tell you the exact calc right now. Physically defensive, and you go +6. And that does 109 to 128%. So there you go, and you're guaranteed faster than it. Again, I always think max speed is just best on this Azu. If you're running it on a Sticky Web team, though, you can justify some HP for maybe like weaker priority moves and whatnot. But the thing about Azu is you really have to be careful. Or opponents have to be careful. They have to keep their Pokemon healthy. Like even a Breloom, which can resist +6 Aqua Jet, has to keep itself at above, again, like 70% or so in order to take an Aqua Jet, and that way it can KO back with Bullet Seed. So it's just something that they really, really, really have to be careful about. Because I believe it has to keep itself above 90% because you do 73 to 86% to Breloom. So it's crazy, right? This mon is a giant threat. The last set we have, we have the last set, but I'm going to talk about other things like Sap Sipper and stuff. But last set we have is Substitute. Now, I've been playing around with Substitute Azu. Azumarill forces switches, right? If my opponent expects me to go for a water move, they're going to go out to a water resist. If my opponent expects me to go to a fairy move, they're going to go out to a fairy resist. There's very few Pokemon that resist both. Again, off the top of my head, Empoleon and Shedinja are two to come to mind. And I will say that there are ways for Azumarill to actually beat Shedinja, which is pretty cool. But we'll get more into that another time, maybe when I use Azumarill. But yeah, so Waterfall is your main move. You're gonna go for Substitute. Substitute gets you get that longevity. And again, if they switch out, you don't have to predict. You can just go for a free attack. Waterfall and Player are your main moves. Focus Punch is a move here because it is just insanely strong. And when you're behind a Substitute, you have the opportunity to go for a free Focus Punch. But if you don't like Focus Punch, Aqua Jet's fine for like, you would hate to lose your Azumarill to like an Infernape, right? So it's great for that. Great for breaking Sash on Alakazam. Great for picking off a weakened Gengar. It's just another option if you want to be able to switch up moves. Before we used to use like Assault Vest Azumarill, but unfortunately that's not in the game. Now I want to talk about a few other options. Azumarill does have access to Perish Song. I don't have anything on your screen right now, so just listen to my voice if that's okay for you. Azumarill does not have access to Perish Song, but it does have access to Perish Song, but it does not have access to Whirlpool. And Whirlpool Perish Song used to be a set with Sap Sipper as a means of dealing with grass types like Ferrothorn or Breloom, depending. But because it doesn't have Perish Song, you just go for Perish Song. Because it doesn't have, Whirlpool. I keep mixing up my words. Because it doesn't have access to Whirlpool right now, you'd be going for Perish Song, and then your opponent would just switch out, right? You can't. There's no way of keeping them trapped. So I don't think that's the greatest thing you can run on this Pokemon. It does have access to Thick Fat, but I feel like that's a waste of a Pokemon on Azu. That's better on something like Snorlax, which already has a better attack stat, right? Like you're making Azu weaker for it to be able to resist Ice and Fire, which it already resists. So I don't think it's necessary in my opinion. Double Edge is also an option on the Choice Band one if you want a neutral move, I suppose. That's a decent neutral move. Brick Break, I've seen that as well for like screens. Sap Sipper sets with basically Sap Sipper would mean that you already resist Breloom's Mach Punch and you would be immune to their Seed Bombs and their Bullet Seeds. So that's an option potentially, and then you can KO them back with like a +1 Play Rough or something like that. So that is an option, maybe a defensive support set, but I feel like that's less impactful right now just because this mon doesn't really have, again, without Perish Song and Whirlpool, without that combination, because again, it does still have Perish Song. Without that combination, it just doesn't make it very good, in my opinion. It's just not worth it. So I think those are the best ways to use it. Like something with Encore could be cool for setup, but I think the offensive Azu is the best way to use it. And again, like that mon is just a giant threat in the tier. But thank you very much for watching. Obviously, let me know what Pokemon you guys want to see next. I've been definitely keeping mine in the comments and just going through whatever. Sometimes I don't even show off this Pokemon until later, but I want to get it done because people ask. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.